Alright guys, so today we're going to be checking out the brand new Sony WF-C700N. This is the brand new pair of true wireless earbuds from Sony, and I'm excited to check these out because Sony makes some of my favorite true wireless earbuds. Now these do come in at $119, and I guess I really could just say that this is the Sony WF-C500s, but with noise canceling, but it definitely is different than that. So we're going to talk about a lot of the features that these have. We're going to talk about the sound, see what all comes inside the box, and see if it's worth the $119 price tag. So first off, let's go ahead and talk about some of the features, because obviously this pair has active noise canceling, which the C500s don't, and I think price-wise, these are priced in between the C500s, but also the LinkBuds S, especially when the LinkBuds S are on sale, because the LinkBuds S normally go for $200. The C500 is supposed to retail for $100, but we've seen them on sale for much cheaper than that. So the $119 price tag may be the sweet spot with getting a lot of the features that you get in the LinkBuds S, but you're getting the price a lot closer to their entry-level C500s. Now this pair does take a dip in the battery life, obviously because of the noise canceling. Now the battery life on the C500s already weren't impressive. You could get 10 hours on the earbuds, and you could only get 10 hours on the case, which just left you with 20 hours total. But on this pair, you're only getting 7.5 hours on the earbuds, and you're only getting 7.5 hours on the case. So you're only getting one charge in the case, which I'm just not a huge fan of. So that's only giving you 15 hours total. Now it does have a fast charge feature, so if you do happen to pick the earbuds up and they're dead, a 10-minute charge is going to get you 1 hour of use. Now this is a nice touch because obviously you're going to have to charge these a little bit more often than your other earbuds. So if you're walking out the door and they're dead, that 10-minute charge to get an hour will be a lifesaver. Now, if you're going to use these outdoors, they do come in with the same IPX4 rating, and with noise canceling, this is normal. You're going to be fine against rain and splashes and sweat and things like that, but this is definitely not one of those pairs that you want to drop into water. Now inside the box, you're getting 3 sets of silicone ear tips. I'm glad that they just stuck with the silicone and didn't go with the foam ear tips like the XM4s. It does come with a very tiny USB-C cable, and you are going to have to use this cable because sadly this case does not have Qi wireless charging, and we have reviewed a lot of earbuds in this price range that have Qi wireless charging. We've reviewed a lot of earbuds below this price range that has Qi wireless charging, so it definitely would have been nice to have that on this pair. That is where you're going to have to spend the extra money to get the LinkBuds S if you need that wireless charging. Now, a huge plus is it does work with Sony's app, which I have always said is one of the best apps out there. It's obviously going to keep your earbuds updated. You get that 360-degree audio if you're going to be using it with certain apps. It also has that DSEE feature, which is digitally upscaling your audio. It does have that adaptive noise control, so it will just kind of adjust the noise canceling based on the environment that you're in. It has EQ options, which is going to be very beneficial with this pair, which we'll talk about. You get controls over your controls, which is also very beneficial on this pair, and it has multi-point support, so you can be connected to more than one device at a time, which is a huge plus for those that like to take phone calls but use their earbuds for watching movies and things like that on their laptop or their tablet, and you being able to just switch over, it just makes it so much easier. Now let's just go ahead and talk about the noise canceling and the ambient mode on here. The noise canceling is so impressive. Now this is not up to the XM4 level. I think they're obviously making it where the XM4s is still their flagship model, getting all of the features but also having the best noise canceling. But the noise canceling on this pair is not far off. It is on par with the LinkBuds S in my opinion, which costs almost twice as much as this pair. So that is a huge plus. It just does a good job of blocking out so many different things. And the ambient mode is also very good on this pair because it can definitely make things sound pretty natural around you. It's so easy to carry on a conversation without having to take these out. So obviously they did an excellent job with both the noise canceling and the transparency or ambient mode. Now moving over to looking at the case and the earbuds themselves, I am not the biggest fan of the design of this case. It's a lot like the C500s where it just has this long skinny design. It does feel pretty sturdy as far as, you know, the way the hinges and all feel, but it is lightweight and it is plastic. And I think it's light because it doesn't have a large battery in it. On the back you can see the USB-C input and the pairing button, and then there's a single light up front, and that's how you gauge how much battery life is left on the case. Now the earbuds look almost identical to the C500s. It does have a little mesh grill where the mic is located. Now this is how you take advantage of the noise canceling, and it does use a single button, which I am such a huge fan of, because on the XM4s, which use touch controls, anytime you go to adjust your earbuds, you're always accidentally touching and making the earbuds do things you don't want to. Now although this pair does have the button control, the button on it is very sensitive, so it's pretty close to having that touch control, but at least you can feel where the button is, and if you just lightly touch it, it's not going to make it do something you don't want to. Now out of the box, they don't give you control over everything, or at least the important things, so I had to go into the app and switch it up where I was able to control my play, my pause, skipping my tracks forward, going backwards, and also my volume control. So you can have control over all of the important things, but you do need to go into the app to make this happen. Now, as far as using these for phone calls, the mics on here do an excellent job of picking up my voice. I feel like I sounded fairly natural, and I think in noisy environments, it definitely is doing a good job of blocking all of that out. But you guys can be a judge by listening to a test here.
So here's the mic on the Sony WF-C700N, and yeah, I'm pretty impressed with the mic quality on here. Sony's always kind of been known to have decent mics on their earbuds, but this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call. And so now here's the mic test with the crowd noise being played, which you can hear here. And so this is what it would sound like if you were to take a call in public.
So now let's talk about the sound. And I think the sound is another area where it definitely separates itself from the C500s, because out of the box, I feel like the C700s are tuned brighter. There's a lot more detail in the C700, and I feel like the bass was kind of tamed down a little bit. So what I decided to do was go in the app, kind of play around with the EQ settings a little bit, and I found that I liked the excited kind of like preset EQ setting, but I did adjust the bass or clear bass all the way up to 8. So I'll show you here what I used, and I think this is a sweet spot for what I like in a sound signature, because I was able to make these sound very bright and very boomy and it not affect the mids at all. So vocalists, no matter what genre I was switching between, always stood out. It could be male or female vocalists. You could hear a lot of details in that. But having that boomy bass, I'm a huge fan of. But that very bright and almost harsh treble just blended perfectly with that low end. Now, this is not like the most overpowering bass that I've heard. I would still put it on par with the XM4s and the Link Buds S. I do feel like it has very similar bass. I feel like the treble to me just seems like it's a little bit brighter on this pair, which again, I'm a huge fan of. Another huge plus is the soundstage and the sound imaging, because these really feel wide. They made me feel like I was in a very large room. They do a really good job of being able to tell where different sounds are coming from. So again, you know, if you're going to use these for like gaming and movies and things like that, it really kind of gives it a natural feel. So if I'm going to break this down into the different categories or different genres that I listen to, if you're going to listen to pop and hip hop, I would give these an 8. And really that's not higher because it just doesn't have that subwoofer type bass that, you know, we've seen in some other earbuds. But if you listen to rock and metal, it, you know, has really nice bass that's able to keep up with the double bass of the drums. Mids, again, make guitars and vocalists sound excellent. And then that bright treble just brings out like the crash of cymbals and things like that. So I would give these a 9 for that genre. And then for genres like easy listening and country that are a little bit more vocal driven, I would give these a 9 here as well. And that's mainly because the treble is so nice and so clean that you're hearing a lot of different instruments that usually get buried in some other earbuds. Again, vocalists sound excellent. So this is a great earbud for those genres. Now, if you're going to use these for media like movies and games and things like that, I would dial it back down to an 8. And again, that's mainly because not having that overpowering or subwoofer type bass keeps these from making you feel explosions. There are some better earbuds out there if you are just a solid bass head and you don't care about the clarity of your music. So I just dialed it back here. But my overall rating, and this really isn't a surprise because again, it's a Sony pair of earbuds, which I'm always happy with. I give these a 9. I think from a value standpoint, getting the noise canceling that you're getting, being able to take advantage of Sony's app and all of the controls that you have over the earbuds. I do understand that you're, not getting Qi wireless charging, which is definitely upsetting if you're something that you're used to. The battery life definitely takes a hit compared to some of the other earbuds in their lineup, and the ANC is not the XM4s, but it is still on par with the LinkBuds S, which is a much more expensive earbud unless you get it on sale. But also keep that in mind, Sony earbuds go on sale all the time, so I can see these dipping below $100 from time to time, and at that price, it's an absolute no-brainer. And I even think at the $119, this is the best overall value that Sony has in their lineup. I don't feel like you're giving up on a lot of features. I think you're still getting a lot with this pair, so this is an easy pair to recommend. But guys, that wraps up my video on the brand new Sony WF-C700Ns. Thank you so much for checking out this video. Thank you so much for checking out all the other videos. And as always, make sure to stay tuned for more.